Hi, guys. Welcome to Double Shot of Steelers. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports, and we have a fun show for you today because today is exactly 1 week before real stuff, meaning yesterday was 1 week before reporting date. Today is 1 week before football. You know, they go onto the field. They do practices and stuff like that. Now, presuming they don't tell us everything that they're going to do the day before they go out onto the field, there's going to be a whole heck of a lot of news generated that day just based on how it is that they happen to line up. You'll get through the usual. There'll be some stretching and, running and stuff like that. That's just generic, athletic stuff. But you're going to get onto the field and you're going to see for the first time where Jalen Ramsey lines up. You're going to see for the first time, who a lot of it's going to get overblown. I can promise you that too. But who goes out first with the first team? Who's at which position? Who's at which slot? Who is WR2? If they even have one, how many tight ends do they send out there? All that stuff is part of the real intrigue that's been building up, not really for weeks, but for months. And it's funny, as it's happening, you're there as a reporter. We're allowed within whatever it is, 6 feet of the sideline or something like that. And your brain's going into hyperdrive because there's almost too much. After all these months of nothing and then doing shows like this and speculating and guessing and hearing everybody's thoughts on this and saying, oh, that's ridiculous, or hey, that's really good thinking, the next thing that happens to you is it's all taking place right in front of your eyeballs. And we're going to talk about that today. We're going to get into some stuff that's going to qualify as either headlines or sub-headlines over the course of what's going to be really an extraordinary day for the Steelers. And we're going to begin doing that with Chris Halleck when we come back right after this brief message.
At DK Pittsburgh Sports, we take pride in coverage that connects our city's fans to their favorite teams. Now, that connection's stronger than ever. Introducing our all-new state-of-the-art app. Find expert inside reporting and original podcasts. Check live box scores. Track the latest stats. Chat it up with our community of thousands of fans, all in one place. The new app from DK Pittsburgh Sports. Coverage that connects.
This live episode of Double Shot is brought to you by Dazzle Sports, where sports memories come to life. You can get your keepsakes professionally custom framed, whether they're sports or personal. If you're looking to browse, buy your next collectible, you can do it from the comfort of your home on dazzle-sports.com. They've got so much inventory, cards, modern releases on those cards, vintage finds, even protective gear like the top loaders and the sleeves, autographed jerseys, photos, game-used items, a whole lot more. They support our show, so let's support them back. And by the way, when you do that, you get 20% off your entire order by using the code DOUBLESHOT, one word, DOUBLESHOT, whenever you check out at www.dazzle-sports.com. Hi, Chris.
Hey, what's going on?
We're gonna get into some what's going on. It's such a loaded question. You ask somebody who's in this business. I could ask you the same thing and you'd have the same response. Everything.
Oh, it's been a day today. It's been a day.
So
one of those days you're glad happened before the start of training camp. I'll put it that way.
Oh, okay. Well, we're still looking for the dentist. Is that what it is?
Oh no, this was the dog running off first thing in the morning.
The dog ran off.
Yeah. And then it's just been downhill from there. It's been a great start to the day.
Well, I've been around your place. Running downhill from your place is a long run.
Mm-hmm. Sure
okay,
is.
I was just going to say, that's a lot of huffing and puffing there.
Sure is.
Okay. All right, just checking there. Everyone's making sure that Chris is okay before we get into something super serious here today. A week from now, we'll be chugging up and down other hills. How do you like that for a
yeah.
transition?
Oh,
Huh?
no
Segue?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, actually the reporting day chugging is way more significant because it's way up to those upper dorms.
Yeah.
But as far as the football goes and the football practice goes, Chris and I will both be there, and we won't have enough eyes on what's happening. And that's just the nature of the first practice. Is no matter what you're looking at, you're not looking at enough. Everybody around you, including, by the way, fans in the stands, people up on the grass hillsides, they're going to see stuff that you don't. And on any given day over the course of this long summer, it could have been something that would have been the biggest story of that day. You know what I mean? Especially this time of year. What's the first thing you want to see when they go out there? And I know you 7-on-7, but I guess to an extent you can talk about 7-on-7, but really 11-on-11.
First thing I want to see on the first day. I think just the thing that I'm looking for really is just where everybody's lining up, what kind of personnel they're going to be sending out on defense, what kind of personnel they're sending out on offense, what kinds of wrinkles that are we going to see on the offense that we didn't see last year. Like I remember specifically last year, obviously it's a new offensive coordinator, so I'm trying to pay attention to any kind of plays or formations that seemed to be different. And last year one was an empty set. So what would normally be for you video game players, like a 5 wide set, shotgun, and normally 5 wide receivers, but this wasn't 5 wide receivers. It was 13 personnel. So 3 of those 5 split out were tight ends. And so that was obviously, okay, this is one way to use 13 personnel. And when you have the tight ends that they had last year, it made a lot of sense, and it makes even more sense to do it this year. But what other wrinkles are there going to be, especially since there's a whole new starting running back, along with a very new running back room minus Jalen Warren, and obviously a brand new quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. So,
right.
I'm curious to see a lot of that kind of stuff. Same kind of stuff I watched early on last year.
You know, this offense in particular could show a lot of different things early on. It could show surprises. It could show things that might actually unnerve some people. Like, for example, if, say, Calvin Austin were to line up as a WR2, or if it was to look like they were just going to minimize the WR2 or throw the WR2 out of the equation. I don't believe that's the case.
No.
But I do think that you're going to see. I do think you're going to see Arthur Smith show some stuff, and because he did it last year too. We went there. We thought we kind of had it all figured out. We thought we had a lot of stuff figured out this year, and then they go and they add Jonnu Smith.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no matter how often his name came up, the addition itself of that player to that room in this context was a surprise. So how do they utilize that? How do they utilize Jonnu all by himself? Like, where does he go? Where is your third tight end? You have seen, Chris. We both have Jonnu lines up in different spots. He's not just you stick him right here and that's the end of it. He's a pretty versatile guy.
No, the majority of his snaps were in the slot. They weren't even on the inline.
Wonder why. Who was his coach before this? Yeah,
Mike McDaniel, another Shanahan product. Yep. Yeah. So, it makes a lot of sense that Jonnu Smith was used that way. I expect Arthur Smith to use him in a similar way. Again, when you look at like coaches that come from an overall philosophy of how offense is supposed to be run. Where here we are talking about the Shanahan offense. Mike McDaniel comes straight from it. Arthur Smith is kind of grandfathered in, even though people like Aaron Rodgers just call him part of it. There will be similarities in terms of how personnel is used. And when you have 2 athletic pass catching tight ends, they will be used. They're not just going to line up on the inline all the time. Like, for example, the Jets last offseason, I understand Nathaniel Hackett's another product from that. But last year, because of the tight ends the Jets had, they have one really good one in Ty Conklin. But there was a lot of just when they were in 2 tight end sets, they were just both on the end line right outside, condensed formation, very boring stuff. I don't expect that to happen with Arthur Smith in this offense this year. So when it comes to Jonnu Smith, I expect him to be used in a number of different ways, because when you have that versatile of a player, use him in versatile ways. And I think Arthur Smith is smart enough to be able to do that.
John Malesko says, first thing I want to see is how the players do on the conditioning test. That actually does happen on the first day. That happens after the reporting. But for that one is a verboten as far as the reporters go, meaning we can watch it. But there isn't any, oh, wow, like we're not going to do play-by-play. We're not going to videotape it. Casey Hampton is 5 miles behind everybody else. That's just one of those things that is that's not okay. In the agreement that is achieved between the team and the people who cover it and everything else here, I will repeat that there are professional teams and almost all colleges that don't let you even come to these things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to start
for that reason.
I don't want to start getting into names and stuff, but let's say, for example, I don't know what rhymes with West Virginia. West Virginia University doesn't let reporters like anywhere near their training camp.
Yeah,
they really don't.
Yeah,
and they have a bunch of people that cover the team throughout that state, whatever, and you just can't go.
Yeah.
Pitt and Penn State are a little bit better at that, but the NFL has a lot of similar type things, where and the Steelers access. If people complain, like, what do you mean? What do you mean they let you watch it, but they don't let you report on it? It's better than not seeing it at all.
Oh, 100%. And for reporters, we're going to do everything we can to make sure we can continue to watch, so that the Steelers don't get to the point of saying like, yeah, you guys keep breaking the rules, so never mind.
Yeah, and right, for what? For what?
Exactly.
So now I don't remember what the question was now. Was there a question?
Well, we were talking about Jonnu Smith and just his no, that was the conditioning test. Sorry. That was all the conditioning.
Oh, yeah. I said that he was looking forward to the conditioning test here. There's that used to be interesting in the days. We used to get almost a whole week's worth of talk out of Casey Hampton finishing dead last or not being able to finish at all. And then Mike Tomlin would leak something out to somebody about how he might not make the team this year because he really didn't. And then what would happen when the season started? He was Casey Hampton again.
Yeah.
That's part of the stuff that gets cleared up right now. Jack Long says, it's been quite some time since I've been this excited to see training camp start. We mentioned yesterday, Chris, almost half, or depending on how it is that you track them, of everybody who's playing out of the starting 22 are new, or at least new to the Steelers. That's something. I mean, there's a lot to see.
There is quite a bit to see, and there's reason to be excited. This was a 10-win team last year. I understand so much of the attention goes to the 5-game collapse at the end of the year, but this is still a team that won 10 games last year, and they, on paper, have gotten better. The defense looks stronger than it did last year. Our quarterback should be better. Running back, it remains to be seen, but it seems to be a better fit for the way Arthur Smith wants to run the ball. Receiver, while you still have a need there, is still better than it was last year. I mean, on a tight end, obviously better than it was last year. A lot of that, and so when you have that, there's plenty of reason to be excited. Do you foresee a Super Bowl season coming up? I wouldn't go that far, but is there reason to think that the Steelers can make the playoffs and possibly actually win a game and play beyond mid-January? It's actually possible, I think.
Dave Black, Latrobe veteran here. Look at this line. It's better to be at camp when they're wearing pads. Dave knows how this is done. Don't waste your time in the first 2-3 days unless you're just going for the atmosphere or to see, ooh, look, there's so-and-so.
Yeah.
Go when it's getting busy.
Yeah.
Go when you can hear the stuff popping down there on the field. Go when you can see the formations, you can see the deep passes, the stuff that gets everybody really pumped up. That's when it gets good. Jay Mood says lightning could strike. Yes, it could strike out there. Oh, unless you mean figuratively.
I think he's
It's
talking
weird.
about I think he was talking about what I was talking about when it comes to like.
That's not what we talk about when it storms out there, because it is wide open.
It is wide open. It is. I mean, it's in the middle of a valley.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's just like, and the
Lightning
thing is,
could strike.
and the thing is that, yeah, Jamin says figuratively. But yeah, I think he was responding to the way I was talking about, like what this kind of season could be. And I agree, lightning could strike. But yes, at training camp, that is very much a possibility too.
Hi, how are you?
Because Mike Tomlin, unless there is lightning in the area, they will be outside. It doesn't matter if it's pouring buckets.
Oh no, you just keep going. Yeah.
And he will be, if anything, he like does a rain dance or something to try to get the rain coming.
He's licking his lips through the whole thing. Tim says backs on backers is the best thing. It depends on how good your eyesight is or whether or not you bring binocs, because they do that in the far corner.
Mm-hmm.
If you're sitting in the seats at Chuck Noll Field in the far corner of the right side of the end zone, and everybody, including us, is around this thing, like Fight Club.
Okay. Yeah, pretty much.
to see my daughter saw Fight Club for the first time.
Oh my
over
gosh.
the weekend. Yeah. So she knows that right now I'm violating rule number 1
And two.
of Fight Club. What's that?
And two.
What's rule 2?
Same thing.
Rule 2 also, was also don't speak about Fight Club. But anyway, you're all around backs on backers, and it's pretty actually impressive. But you got to be close to it to really get it. Probably
the best view of the. Oh wait, hold on a second. We have some breaking news here.
We do.
The Steelers and star TJ Watt have agreed to a contract extension.
No way, Chris.
Yeah.
This is massive news.
Watt's extension
right in the middle of the show.
Watt's extension is expected to exceed $40 million a year, making him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Let me do this move just real fast to let everybody know what we've been saying.
I'll tell you what, let's put the block up on your side, or unless you want to just stay on the camera while you're typing.
Yeah, I gotta go run and get my. Yeah,
go ahead. You go ahead, take care of your business. We'll look at your studio there while you take care of stuff. I'll read this out loud for everybody. That TJ Watt has in fact just signed his contract, as we've been yawning through the entire summer, telling you that he would. TJ's deal is 3 years, $123 million. I'm going to repeat that just so that it sinks in, because we've really normalized these numbers way too much in life. 3 years, $123 million. That includes $108 that's fully guaranteed at the signing. The $41 million average is the highest for any non-quarterback in NFL history. Not Myles Garrett. Not anybody, non-quarterback. It's the most anybody's been paid in the history of the league who isn't a quarterback. TJ's representation is CAA Sports, has been forever. They've been working with Omar Khan and the Steelers to get it done. They do get it done. They get it done a week before the first practice. So no drama, no questions. No, oh no, where's TJ going to be? Who are they trading him to? When everybody's telling you that there's absolutely no chance that that's going to happen. TJ got paid. The reaction from our community here in real time is great. You deserve it, TJ. Ashley throws an F-bomb out, meaning in the good kind of F-bomb. That's all right. Cat Manada, where the heck have you been, dude? Says, yeah, wife is happy to hear from you. Says, we are shocked. Who would have guessed that the Steelers would pay TJ? Not if you were watching this show. David says, wow, very big contract. Good for TJ. Great for us, the fans. Now we have a complete defense. I'm just going to keep reading some of your stuff here. Oh, DK says, can we have a Ramon Foster style? TJ got paid. I'm trying to do the way Moan did it that day when Cam Hayward got his last extension out at Chuck Noll Field. We should bring Moan up just for that. To do that for TJ. I bet you he'd get a big kick out of that, meaning TJ. Damian Ellswick comes in with some additional sarcasm. Says, I thought he was getting traded for 3 first-round picks, according to ESPN and everybody else. Don't limit it to the people who don't cover the team. There are people who do cover the team who were going along with this stuff too. Craig Cole, is it a sign and trade? More sarcasm. Spaceman says we knew this would happen all along. Yeah, and I don't mean to make it sound like we're going on some big told you so or whatever. I mean, they're the Steelers. This is exactly what they do. This is exactly what they've done now for how long? There was one exception, one significant exception to this over the last 30 years, and that was Le'Veon Bell, because he had an agent who had a brain about this big. See how big? This is how big Lev Bell's agent's brain was. And he thought he would get Lev paid in some weird way. You know, and you know, it were all kinds of different reports that came out, far from a deal, not close. Here are the problems. Here's all this and that. And what did we keep saying to you? What did we keep saying? This is why you're here. By the way, I'm going to seize upon this opportunity because I'm not above this. If TJ is going to get $123 million out of this, we're going to get at least 99 cents. Okay. So go to dkps.net/join and become a member, because you know where you can get your real information. William says, I never had a doubt. Well, you never had a doubt because you're here. dkps.net/join. Okay. Get that done. It's 99 cents a month, covers a whole channel. Ramon, Matt Williamson, Chris Halleck, everything.
The other 3 million shows.
And the other 5 million shows that I do, points out the boss here, because it's just all I'm doing pretty much around the whatever. Ray says, I called it. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. There's guys, seriously, stop that. This is okay. Steelers South says, how will this affect this year's contract? We don't have details yet. As you can see, this is happening in real time. We've actually put Chris on the job. He's now typing stuff for our website, making sure that we get that at the top. It's obviously the biggest news of the day.
That is Chris typing
in Pittsburgh sports. Look at Chris typing. Well, she's such a spy. Look at that. The director just turned on. She got him to look. That's actually very funny. Just leave it up there. Chris Kim, because that headline's no good anymore anyway. It's TJ. It should say TJ got signed.
All right.
You want to do that?
Sure.
Brent says, hit that like button. This is the best Pittsburgh sports coverage, so give them some love. Whether we're the best or not, that's not. We're trying hard. We're trying hard. She says that we are, but she's got a bias in this for sure. Michael says he's disappointed that Chris isn't singing while he's typing, so we can really watch him multitask. Would you just leave him alone? He's trying to get work done. He's not getting anything done. I'm going to repeat the information here for you again, that TJ has become the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. By the way, that's the second time that's been the case. That's the second time that the Steelers have treated him with that measure of respect. His last extension hit the same criteria. So as I've been telling you all along here, all that needed to happen was you had to have somebody or multiple somebodies involved in this who would know how to get creative and how to frame it in a certain way so that it would meet the expectations. And if TJ feels like, hey, I'm the best defensive player in the world, which he is, and if he feels like, you know, I've given this much to the franchise, to the city, and everything else. There she is with the new banner for us. You know, that's one of the things that you have to deal with in sports. But the beauty of it is that you have an Omar Khan on this side as your general manager, and Omar can work all this stuff in the cap. I will be surprised, and we've been telling you this for months as well, if this extension doesn't, in fact, lower the Steelers' cap hit for the coming season, for the 2025 season. It's going to take a little bit of time to figure all that stuff out, but we'll get there. Robert Sham says, is Myles Garrett storming into the GM's office right now? No. And you want to know something? These guys understand that whenever they break the record or they become the highest paid, that the very next day somebody else could top that. Did Trey Hendrickson get signed? Did anybody ever check on that? Did the Bengals ever sign him? Seeks new contract. No. Okay. So if Hendrickson says, listen, I'm younger and I think Trey Hendrickson, am a better player than TJ Watt, even though he isn't. And then Hendrickson could top him later today. But it doesn't matter because at the time that you put pen to paper, you've already, you've set that standard. D-Boy says, what a great day. Dave says, what in the world is happening? Somebody had to come through with one of those. I don't know what this means. Steve says, grateful that TJ won't be appearing with a cheesy graveyard today. Oh, the Myles Garrett graveyard in front of his house. That's only for Halloween. He doesn't keep that up year round. That would be pretty psychotic. Not to mention it definitely get him in trouble with the homeowners association. TJ is now getting paid, according to John, more than the entire Pirates roster. He is not. I'm sure it feels like that when you watch them sometimes, but he absolutely is not. Benny says, I'm just getting here. Did I miss anything? Cody says, I thought once a player was drafted, they couldn't go back to college. Stewart just signed yet and is practicing at A&M. That's a Bengals story. Take that up with double shot of Bengals, Cody. I'll bet they have a double shot of Bengals. Maybe they don't. Myles Garrett would probably pay the homeowners association fines with no problem. I don't know, man. Those can run up on you. Not that we've ever violated homeowners association policies. Yeah, we've got so much stuff going on here. I'm simultaneously looking at our staff here at DK Pittsburgh Sports communicating with each other in real time here, in reshuffling our homepage. We're getting alerts out to our readers. If you don't have our app, by the way, or our app or our website, you're missing out on a lot. We keep you up to date on stuff. Michael says, did you see the photo that TJ posted today? He's a monster. I did. Can I say something about this? It was for anybody who didn't, it's TJ and Nick Herbig after a workout and all smiling and everything, which right off the bat, I mean, he's there with his fellow outside linebacker, all the positive vibes and everything. But did anybody else think that he looked bigger? Like, there's all kinds of different ways that you can stand. And
we got a thumbs up from Halleck. He too thought.
Oh, he did. Yeah, he looked bigger. And I have a feeling, yeah, Cody says TJ looked bulky compared to Herbig. Well, Herbig's not the biggest outside linebacker, okay? But TJ's arms in particular, they looked kind of like tree trunkish. And that's going to be interesting to see here. Yeah, that's what everybody's talking about here. Now, again, it might be just that he was either flexing or his arms were pressed against his torso or whatever. Michael says TJ had to get stronger to hold that bag of money. $123 million, even in the biggest possible bills, has to be pretty heavy. You know? What if it was in coins? Deborah says that TJ looked pumped. He looked pumped, or he looked like he was pumping, is what he looked like. Looked almost like Debo. Hey, listen, he's going to be in. We're going to talk to him, and we're going to ask him all kinds of questions. Nate Bianco points out here, poor Jose Negron, our baseball writer, and his Pirates story. Yeah, Jose just wrote his heart out forecasting the Pirates' second half of the season. Poof, there it goes. I'm sure he'll get over it. D-Boy says, now it's time to find WR2 and maybe FS1. Don't rule that out as well. Mike says, this might be a stupid question. Mike can actually find something to ask about that isn't TJ here. Being that Broderick Jones played on the right side all last year, and that's all that other teams have to go by to study him and prepare, is that a benefit when he moves? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think you have to. You don't scheme around how the other guys block. They have to scheme around what it is that you're doing as a defensive player. You're the proactive one in that one. So John says, what is a beast? What is a beast? But I don't deny that Miles. Oh yeah, Garrett's build is something, and maybe it's the TJ just doesn't want to get bull rushed. Maybe if in fact he is bigger, maybe he just is tired of getting swallowed up by multiple bodies. He's become even bigger and stronger, and he wants to make sure that he elevates his game appropriately. And that, of course, is going to involve moving around, and maybe moving around a lot. Tyler says, just wait until people hear how much we're spending on defense. Yeah, there's that too. I thought I saw something. No. The Steelers will still have the highest paid defense, but a lot of that has to do with not paying a quarterback, and they haven't really done that for about 5 or 6 years now. Yeet says, TJ looks like someone you're going to want to chip even more. Robert says, TJ went on the JJ diet. The truth is, when I saw that picture today, my first thought was JJ. Because that's actually what JJ's arms have looked like forever. What a day, huh? A bigger TJ is okay by me. It's okay if he retains his mobility, if he retains his quickness, his burst, and all those other things that have made him special, legitimately special. I'll ask you guys a question. We're going to throw this back here at you now that TJ is all locked up. And by the way, let's do it again for anybody who's jumping in here live. TJ Watt has signed. It's a 3-year, $123 million extension. That includes $108 million guaranteed at signing. Now, remember, when we say extension, we're talking about in addition to the year for which he was already signed. Okay, so it's actually 4 years total. It's not now 3 years, including the coming season. That's important to note. The $41 million per year average of the extension, again, not counting this year, is the highest for any non-quarterback in the history of the game. That's some pretty special territory there for a special player. I'm going to ask you guys, when you're talking about the greatest defensive players, you knew I was going to do this, in franchise history, where does TJ rank? Set aside your 1970s biases, the older ones among you, if you can. Best defensive players in franchise history. And yes, I get that's a long list. And yes, I get that a whole bunch of them were granted yellow jackets. Okay. I'm talking about the best ever. Does not have to. I mean, I'll tell you mine straight out. You can go from there. Mine isn't going to surprise anybody. Mine is the legendary, the greatest Steeler of all time. The guy who made the Steelers what they are. Back then and today, that would be your Mean Joe Green. Okay? Yes, Mean Joe is still number one. If TJ were to go and get 2 more DPOYs, we can start having that conversation or something. But Mean Joe Green is number one for me. We're going to get a lot of Troy Polamalu in this case. 412 says Mean Joe, then Troy, then TJ. I'm not putting Troy ahead of TJ. Troy was dynamic. Troy was entertaining. Troy was different. Troy impacted the game in a way we'd never seen any safety do. But if you want to talk about Troy, and I'll bet you Troy would agree with me on this, we could have a debate as to whether or not Troy was the Steelers' best safety ever. Okay? Just throwing that out there. Well, hang on. No, I take that back. I think at Mel Blount. Mel Blount's a corner. That's who I was thinking of. Let's say defensive back then. So David says Green, then Lambert. No. Lambert had the image and the missing teeth and all that other stuff. He's not in this class. Polamalu, then Watt. I mean, everybody loves Troy. How can you not love Troy? Troy's super entertaining. Mike Jones says, I thought you said we weren't using those guys. No, I didn't say that. I just said don't let it become a bias for you. Just because they played in the 1970s, that means automatically they're better than everybody else. That's what I meant by that. Phil says Mean Joe defines the franchise. Nobody would dispute that, including number 90, I should add. who's reduced to the same writhing ball of protoplasm that we all are whenever we're around Mr. Green to this day. Daniel says, Watt needs the jewelry, though. Really, you know what? Watt needs the jewelry, but Watt needs to win a playoff game. And if I'm not in the business of doing predictions with you guys, you know that. But if there's one thing I could safely forecast, it's that whenever we talk to TJ, whether that's at a special press conference between now and the opening of training camp, or whether it's right there in Latrobe, I lay everything I own on TJ bringing up, not once, but repeatedly, it's time to win in the playoffs. It's time to win in the playoffs. That's how it's going to be here. Williams says they're going to be like that to TJ one day. You mean later on? Yeah. I mean, let's see if we can get a couple more of these here. Celeste says, oh, she brings Debo into it. Good for her. Says Mean Joe Green, then Debo, then TJ, and then Rod Woodson. Please don't forget about Rod Woodson and what he did here. I mean, my goodness, the secondary that these guys have had over the years. Mark says Watt is number 2 all time. Let's get him a playoff win. Preston says that Troy is absolutely the best football player I ever saw. He was playing a different game than anybody else. Yeah, that's why I keep referencing his dynamism, his difference. You know, Adam gets silly on us and starts throwing in Artie Burns and Devin Bush. Somebody has to do it. It was Adam today. Dr. K says TJ's top 5. Well, listen, can we at least agree that he's top 3? You know, back in that day in the 70s, 80s, 90s, whatever, the whole DPOY thing wasn't some heavily discussed, let's see what the votes are kind of thing. It just wasn't. You were an all-pro or you weren't. You were a Pro Bowl selection or you weren't. So we don't necessarily know, how many, how would you have looked at, for example, I'm mentioning Mel Blount, and not enough of you are, by the way, mentioning Mel Blount. You want to talk about somebody who changed the game. Blount, Woodson, Troy, Chris says Mike Wagner in the secondary. That's a nice name to be throwing into this mix here. I don't know how you couldn't have TJ into your top 3 just based on Defensive Player of the Year, honors, finalists, the way he's been so far ahead of other players at his position. Yes, including the guy in Cleveland for as long a time as he has been. Daniel Suarez says that Rod Woodson was my favorite player growing up. Troy, watching him in person was absolutely incredible. TJ's right there. Troy is baby Jesus. Yeah, there's that too. Is Chris done writing? Can we bring him back? Yeah, he is. You can bring him back now. There he is.
What's up? All the work's done. We got
you
the
talk
story
for a while, and you do the comments, and I'll proofread your article. How about that?
Thank you. It's only four paragraphs right now. It'll
I'm
get
sure
more
they
later.
are 4 fine, inspired paragraphs. I'm going to read them now. You go ahead and do your.
So one of them that I'll give, because it's free for everyone to read, so I'll put it on here. The average annual value. So here, people here are $41 million per year, and they're going to freak out and be like, "Oh my God, this is way too much money."
It's just the extension.
It's 14.4% of the Steelers' salary cap. The last time the Steelers signed TJ Watt to a contract extension, it was more than 15.3% of the salary cap. So in terms of how the dollars are allocated for the salary cap for the Steelers, this is a better team deal than the last one was, even though this is a record deal. It's all about how the league is growing, how the cap grows with it. By the way, for those of you who are baseball fans, you need to understand about the salary cap and how it can be beneficial. Here you go. The NFL salary cap is growing exponentially every year, which is why they are able to pay TJ Watt $41 million a year and it not be an outrageous number. It sounds like an outrageous number because no edge rusher has ever been paid this much, but it's still a very similar percentage of the cap that the last contract was. Now, he's 4 years older. Of course, you have concerns about that, but this is also a 3-year deal. This isn't 4 years or 5 years. By the time the contract's done, and I assume that he would be probably, 33, 34 by the time the contract's done, then okay, then you can start revisiting some more short-term type contracts and probably at a lesser average annual value. But my gosh, like this is not a bad deal whatsoever. So everybody was thinking, oh, well, TJ's on the wrong side of 30 now. They paid him too much money. I don't think that's quite the case just yet. So, yeah,
he's a Steeler for life, Chris.
Oh,
let's look at that term right there.
Mhm.
Okay, what happens is I'm going to keep saying this because you're going to see it cast as 3-year extension, and it is a 3-year extension, but it's a 3-year extension on top of an existing year.
Yep.
The existing year wasn't rewritten. The Steelers don't do that.
Yeah.
Okay. What they did was they just added 3. So he'll be 34.
Yeah.
In that range, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's plenty. Okay. At that position, at edge rusher, we're watching Von Miller now, go from team to team.
Oh,
he
my
just
gosh.
signed with Washington yesterday. He's going to be a Steeler for life, and a Steeler for life is exactly what he should be, because that 90 should be up there with the 75s. And it's not just about Hall of Honor. It's not just about Hall of Fame. It's also about where you stand in franchise history. I have been both surprised and disappointed. And I'm not saying this just now. I've been saying it all along. And the people who have just kind of flicked that aside, like that doesn't matter. If you want to be the Jaguars, go be the Jaguars. Okay.
Yeah.
If you want to be the Arizona Cardinals or the Atlanta Falcons who celebrate the career of Matt Ryan as you go through their stadium, okay, and you saw those, Chris, when we were down there the last couple of years. We've been down there twice now. You look at that. Look at Dirty Birds, and it's a bunch of people. You go, oh yeah, they played in the NFL. I forgot about them. They're the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they're associated with great, truly great players.
Mm-hmm.
If you lose that, regardless of who your current head coach is, who your next head coach will be, you lose such a big chunk of your own identity, of your own pride. And I'm sorry, I can't be convinced that that's not something that you take out onto the field with you on Sundays to an extent, to a fair extent.
Mm-hmm. And I think the one difference, and it really just occurred to me, and I don't know why it just occurred to me, because I know it. It's very obvious. But the last time a contract extension was done with TJ Watt, Omar Khan wasn't the GM. It was Kevin Colbert who was the one who ultimately got that done.
Well,
that was 2021. That was 2021.
I know, but Omar was here, and Omar was doing a lot of that stuff.
No, Omar was here, but Omar was
helping
in terms of how the contract is structured to benefit the cap the most. But the GM of record is still Colbert, and that deal, it took it to the final hour to get that done. This gets done, 6 days before players report to training camp? Like, I'm not saying that Omar is better than Kevin Colbert. He's got a long way. He's got a long way to go before he would get to Kevin Colbert's territory, because Colbert still has 2 Super Bowls under his belt. But it's cool to see this happening early on in his tenure, and the fact that it wasn't that long ago, a couple of weeks ago, that Art Rooney signed Khan to his own extension.
Yes.
And that puts full faith in, okay, we're going to trust you to get the stuff done that needs to get done. And this TJ thing doesn't get done going on into training camp, where he's either holding in or he's holding out. They avoid the entire situation altogether, even though there were reports that the sky was falling and the Steelers are listening to trade calls and all the outside noise. It gets done. And I think it's another, when you talk about the things that Omar has done well and the things that he hasn't done well, it's another thing, and it's another achievement in the column of things that he's done well.
Can I throw out something here? And Chris, I don't know if your information is exactly the same as mine, but I want to reemphasize this, and I want to do it in figurative, all capital letters, glowing neon, blaring from the top of the actual Mount Washington. The Steelers never discussed a TJ Watt trade with anybody.
No.
Okay. Every syllable that anyone spoke or wrote about the Steelers and TJ and a trade was 100% untrue.
Yeah.
Okay. And you, as the reader or the consumer, are allowed to be discerning about where it is that you get your information. So if you can file away something because somebody wins the day in the media by saying, oh, TJ, they're talking trade with TJ, and that person gets themselves a lot of views on YouTube or a lot of hits on Twitter, the real problem is that they never technically pay a price for it. They never get punished for it, because the next time they do something like that, X number of people are still going to go running to it like catfish.
Yeah.
Okay. But this is what they do. Okay. This is what they're looking for. And sometimes it's even in the hypothetical sense. Like Richard here mentions ESPN. They're not alone, but we can mention them. Okay. If you build an entire show around who's the team that's most likely to get TJ Watt if he's traded. Okay. Well, you're tuning in because you want to hear it's the Cowboys, or you want to hear that he's heading to one of the New Jersey teams and everything. And what happened when you asked us? What did we do?
Just kept telling you.
We just kept dumping on you. We just kept saying, no, we're not doing this. Yeah. Okay. We're not doing this because we know he's signing. Not that we believed he was signing. It wasn't an opinion. We were being told they were absolutely getting this done. Yeah. And we talked to TJ on an almost daily basis in season. We know where his heart was. Why? We're in the locker room dealing with him. Matthew Bunk drops $100 in.
No, I saw that.
It's just because of the new TJ deal. That's really cool, man. We appreciate that. Matthew is in a good mood about this. And I'll tell you what, I had a really spirited podcast a few weeks ago that some people got really upset about. Some people said, I'm never listening to you again. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. And I called people out and said, I'm sorry. If you're in favor of TJ Watt being traded for draft picks, if you're in favor of that, if that's something that, never mind how plausible or not plausible it was, I don't know why you're following this franchise. I don't know why you're claiming to support this franchise, because that's not who they are.
Yeah. And
same goes for this player. Okay. Listen, TJ was going to be just fine financially with or without this deal. Okay. The Watt family was not going to be scraping by for the next multiple generations. Okay. But if you were that way about TJ, were you actually one of those 68,500 people who fill those yellow seats when he kicks the air after a big play? Are you really one of those people?
Yeah.
Oh God, they got so mad about that.
Listen, like the thing that people need to understand and remember, and it's going to happen again next offseason, because it happens every single offseason. There is always going to be something to be talked about, and there is always a period. There are always periods in which people need stuff to talk about to fill up airtime. And
we're not different than that. I mean, we have to do it too. We do more shows than most.
Right. But when the Steelers are, and they were probably even more so than they have been in a while because of the whole Aaron Rodgers situation that happened, and then the TJ Watt. But the thing is that I knew that as soon as the Rodgers stuff got taken care of and he was signed and done, that the attention would then shift to TJ Watt, because he wasn't signed to his extension yet. And that's the territory that we go into at this time of year, because this period right here between minicamp and training camp is the most dead period of the year for the NFL, and people need stuff to talk about. And you will every now and then see extensions done the week leading up to training camp. We saw it, a couple days ago or yesterday, when the Jets took care of Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner. It just boom, boom, done. New contracts for both guys.
They did too. Bang, bang.
Yeah, you see that kind of stuff get done. We want to get the stuff before training camp starts. That way everybody comes. There's no holdouts. There's no hold-ins. We don't have to worry about it. And he can just come and he can be ready to go. And so people needed stuff to talk about. Of course, when you see other extensions getting done and TJ's not getting done, of course, oh my God, they're not getting any closer. And this is also usually how it happens. It usually just pops up out of nowhere. Oh, by the way, Steelers and TJ Watt sign a contract extension. Oh, there we go. So it just, I don't blame everybody for needing, like you said, we have to fill up airtime too. We have to talk about stuff. You have daily shots that you do, and there are
I did a whole segment last week on the two punters coming to camp. Oh, I mean, with much respect, I mean, the Steelers have two very, very good punters. It's a legit issue, but I'm not doing that for clicks, kids. Okay. I don't even think Christian Kuntz would tune in for that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, he might. He's got the character for it.
But yeah, it's just, but that's why, like we tell you, like, we would tell you to listen to us because, we're here for a reason. But at the same time, just make sure that, the reason why we say it here is because we level with you. We tell you exactly what we're hearing, and we're there every single day. Wherever the team goes, we go. If DK is not going, I'm going. I'm usually the one who goes and follows them around during the off season when they're going to Mobile or Indianapolis or wherever the owners' meetings are. I'm the one who follows them around, probably annoying them a little bit. But I do that so that I can have the most information. That's why every time even it came up with our subscribers on our website, I'm like, he's getting signed. There's nothing to be talked about here. Like, I'm sorry to keep raining on your parade and giving you this very boring answer, but he's going to get signed. And he's going to get signed. We gave boring answers. And we might not have won the day, but, beer is good food. He has one concern here. He says, now that the TJ deal is done, can we go back to dissecting videos of Aaron Rodgers walking his dog on the beach and what that means for the Steelers? He didn't have a dog. Did you see a dog? I never saw an Aaron Rodgers dog. Unless he has like a CGI type dog like Crypto. I mean, you were man. I mean,
there was no dog.
No, you're the one who edited that, by the way. That picture. Right? When we had to put together, because remember we had to put together a picture. Like we had,
oh my God, that's right. But there was no dog.
No, that's what I'm saying. You should know better than everybody that you're.
I forgot. Yeah, you were writing about him on the beach, and I went and we had to clean up the photo. Oh my goodness! But there was no dog.
There was no dog.
No. The boss occasionally will do some of that photo editing for us, and she's like, "Can I just wash this guy out?" And I'm like, "No, it's journalistic ethics, whatever." Now, maybe she washed the dog out. Did you wash Aaron Rodgers' dog out?
No,
you should see the look I'm getting right now. She doesn't need a microphone for that look. David says the dog took the picture. This is why we have you guys. That's pretty good stuff.
So can everybody feel a little bit better about this? For everybody who's, I have a new number. I'm going to add this to my story really quick. So the 3-year extension is on top of what he is being owed this year. So that brings a total of 4 years and $144.05 million,
which
is an average of $36 million a year. So if you look at it from that perspective, it is not the record deal.
See, that's what I mean. When I said there was, I've been saying all along, there's a way you can do this where you can say one thing as a framework. Okay, this extension represents the highest, whatever. Okay,
correct.
But the 4-year span doesn't. They left the first year alone.
Yeah. So the first year gets left alone. It would not surprise me though, and because we did get a question earlier, and I don't remember if I started or not, of like, how does this affect the cap space for this year? Well, right now, I mean, just because we actually know the contract details of Jalen Ramsey and Johnny Smith, which I have both of those on our Steelers feed on DKPittsburghSports.com, they have, according to Spot Track, $25 million in cap space in doing nothing to TJ Watt's contract. So if they wanted to go and get WR2, they can.
They can do that.
You can set aside the $10 million that you need, possibly, or like $8 million that you need.
It's $5.
Yeah.
You mean the walking around money for in season?
Yeah.
They can get by with $5 because prorated. You're not gonna. We're gonna start boring people to death here. We're gonna have time for one more question here, and then we're gonna make you guys a deal. Okay, so stay tuned. All right. Triple Double says this is a huge mistake. We can't pay a 30-year-old record dollars. think of all the moves that Mike Tomlin has made the last 2 years. I can't help but feel that he has one foot out the door and does not consider the team's future. Now, I have respect for this stance, even without the $10 being dropped. You're going to have to take my word for that, okay? From a purely ice cold, practical standpoint, if you just fell here from the moon and you were running this team, you could see where this deal might be troublesome, okay? But one of the subjects that we've had, coincidentally, on the show all week long has been this idea that you have a team loaded, especially on the defensive side of the ball, with people who are really, really determined to win right now. Who are those people? Go through the whole list of the names that we've been mentioning, the new acquisitions, and how motivated they are in their final year, or in the cases of TJ and Cam, who, TJ never having won a playoff game. Cam hasn't won one in forever. These guys want to win, and they want to win right freaking now. Mm-hmm. So what price do you put on that? This is, the people who could have parachuted in when the Tampa Bay Bucks did something like this a few years ago. They could have won all those arguments. People who were supporting the Rams when they made their run and they traded away 700 future draft picks. Mm-hmm. Okay. You could make the same arguments, but you have to remember that there's only one objective in this sport and in this league. There's one. It's not winning trades. It's not winning transactions. It's not winning the draft. It's not winning whatever the hell the Browns think they're winning every March. It's winning the Super Bowl. It's winning the Super Bowl. That's what they're trying to do here.
Yeah. And listen, when you look at it from the perspective that it's record money, then yeah, you can be, it really is all about how you view it. You can look at it from the perspective of an edge rusher has never been given an extension that's worth $41 million a year. You can also look at it from the perspective, and this is how teams look at it, so that probably means a little bit more, is how are that dollars allocated to the salary cap? And this contract, this extension, is less of the salary cap percentage than his last contract extension was. So he did not. He actually got a better team deal. He got a worse deal this time around than he did the last time, based off of the way the dollars are being allocated toward him. So it really is all about how you want to view it. If you want to just sit there and look at it from, it's record money, he's 30 years old, blah, blah, blah. Or you can be like, listen, he's taking up less of the pie this time around than he did 4 years ago when he was probably a better player. And he did go on to win Defensive Player of the Year that year. But who says he doesn't get this and then go and win Defensive Player of the Year again this year? It wasn't that long ago. He probably should have won it when Myles Garrett was pretty much handed it.
Guys, we're going to make you a deal, as I just promised. We're gonna tell you that when we come back right after this really brief break, and we're hoping you can stick around with us in more ways than one. Okay, so just hang on. All right, so here's the deal. First thing is we're going to take care of some business here. Jack Long just dropped by right now, actually, with 10 gifted memberships. If you aren't already a member on your own, go to dkps.net/join. You have to type that up into your URL. The Smith family comes in with the exact same thing, also and equally appreciated. Triple double. Had a $10 gift here. Daniel Suarez with 129 Mexican something or others. I'm not sure what that is because it says dollars, and I know that Mexico doesn't use dollars. So we'd have to think, what is it? Is it Mexican peso? Do we know? Yes, she's the crossword expert over there, doing peso. you know that from, right? Because it's got vowels. Oh, yeah, she was in Mexico, too, and she used pesos. She's cultured. Mike from Jersey came in as a new member. Derek Daniels. I was about to call you Dark Derek for some reason. Came in as a new member. J11 came in with a couple of bucks here. Says he's coming to a ball game here this weekend, and he might visit. What do you mean might visit your store? What is there a condition? Come and see us, man. As a couple of bucks is going to have to do for the day. Kerry Russell with one, Chris Dolnack with a couple, as always. And William Carroll came in as a new member, and we're saving a very special mention for Matthew Bunk, who came in and dropped $99. Can you look up what 129 Mexican pesos is here so we can have the appropriate reaction? I guess, yeah.
You should be excited.
I'm excited regardless. If it was 129 cents, I would be excited about it, Daniel. I just want you to know that, and grateful. But just curious, because if it's like,
$6.87, $6.87.
There you go. It's like $7. Appreciate that, man. That's really cool. You certainly didn't have to do that. It just looks really dramatic, But Matthew, we appreciate you. We appreciate everybody who contributes. Now, how about this, Chris? We're just planning this out here in real time. How about me and you each take like about a half hour or 45 minutes or so to kind of do some work, check with some people.
Yeah. I've already got things.
I'm sure. How about if we do that and then we all hook up here again, members only.
Ooh, members only.
Members only at 5:45 p.m. Is that a deal?
Sounds
for
good.
More TJ talk. 5:45 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, it won't be a show this long, but it's going to be for members only because we feel like there's more to say here and more of your reaction that we want to get and everything else. And plus, it's a little something for the members. Okay.
You have 45 minutes to subscribe.
Yeah, 45 minutes. That's she said the deadline here. Oh my God, you got to hurry. As soon as this show gets done, dkps.net/join to become a member so you can be part of the next discussion that we're about to have. All right, there it is. dkps.net/join. Just jump on it there. All right, we'll see you guys at exactly 5:45 p.m. Eastern. Bye-bye.